there! Monday's blog was about the importance of accuracy in science fiction, or the lack thereof. There I write about whether it's the actual science of the work that is important, or if it's the believability of the science in the world that they're working with. For me personally, it is the believability of science within the world, and that's my opinion on that. But in the blog, I do mention that there are many different opinions out there as to the importance of accuracy within science in science fiction. Please check it out in the link below, audreybwilson.com/blog. So today I'm going to be continuing the talk about science fiction and the accuracy thereof within certain tropes that you see within science fiction. There will be some fangirling and there will be some bitching, so you are forewarned. But before I get into that, I do have an announcement. I am having to pull back on some of my content. I am starting back with school starting at the end of August, and to prepare for that, starting in August, I will only be doing a video and a blog every other week. So I will still be on Facebook and Twitter, so please follow me there, subscribe to the channel, and every week I'm going to try to put out some news, but depending on how stressful everything gets, I am pulling back a little bit so that I can focus on my schoolwork. So, without further ado, let's get on to today's topic, and I hope you enjoy. Number 1, fashion. Okay, so I started with this one because it's not that big a deal when it comes to reading. It's more so when you watch something in sci-fi that you get kind of a feel for what the fashion is like, because you can describe things a million times in a book and the reader is still going to put their own spin on whatever you put out there. I know this isn't science fiction, but just case in point, in the books, Hermione in the Goblet of Fire had a blue dress, and in the movies she had a pink one. It just goes to show it's not all that important what the characters are wearing when you're reading it. Sometimes it is a major plot point what somebody is wearing, and to fully describe it makes something else make more sense, but it's not really all that important for the most part, so people are going to put in what they see in their mind anyway. When you're viewing something, it's a lot harder to do that because it's right there in front of you and it's instant. You can see it. My biggest complaint about fashion in science fiction is 2 things, actually. The first is the complete impracticality of something, or it's the everybody wears the same thing trope. That's kind of dumb, because you gotta know there's gonna be somebody who doesn't want to wear that, and especially if you look at places like Star Trek and their supposedly free worlds, not everybody's going to be wearing the same thing, I'm sorry. And yes, I'm looking mostly at The Fifth Element and Star Trek, because those are the 2 biggest ones I can think of for this topic, as far as what I... So let's just look at The Fifth Element first. Literally everything that Lilu wears looks painful. It looks painful. Seriously, what is going on with that? I don't understand. Now, don't get me wrong. I actually really love The Fifth Element because it's so quirky, but the fashion was always something that bothered me about it. Everything is completely impractical, and don't even get me started on Ruby Rhod, Chris Tucker, right there, and Diva. I forget how to say the last part of her name. So yeah, Lilu, again, everything she wears looks painful to me. And second, Ruby Rod, Chris Tucker, how did you keep this on? And how do you move in that? I gotta say, Chris Tucker, all power to you, because that, wow. I would not be able to move in that at all. Also, I don't even know about this one. Diva, whatever it was, I can't tell if she's supposed to be in her skin or if she's actually wearing a dress, because who matches their clothes to their skin color? That precisely. How do you do that? I don't know how you do that. I don't know. And then, of course, everything is so shiny and so pleathery and everything. It's so impractical. I'm sure on set they were squeaking all over the place. I don't know how that didn't make it into the film, honestly. Now, Star Trek, at least everybody looks comfortable in what they're wearing. For the most part, there's a few exceptions, I think. But for the most part, everything looks comfortable enough. My issue with Star Trek is that why are they all wearing the same thing? I mean, especially when you go to the different alien races, such as the Romulans. Does everybody wear this? I mean, this is even a picture of Captain Picard and Data pretending to be Romulans. What? Why are they all wearing the same thing? But everybody has the same hairstyle and the same clothes. Anyway, it's just very homogenous, and I don't like that. Please, for the love of God, make things different and somewhat practical. I mean, who goes around wearing this? Nobody. And I doubt anybody in the future will either. Oh, and when it's not supposed to be practical, or it's supposed to be a homogenous race, or anything along those lines, that's okay. Just make a point of it for me so that I know this is kind of the point. Number 2, language. Basically, everybody understands everybody without learning the language, and it doesn't matter where they come from, whether they come from a different country or even a different planet. And also within the same planet, why isn't there multiple languages? If you look at Earth, we have a lot of languages, and we even have different languages from similar parts of the world. And yet, every time we go into science fiction, an entire planet speaks the same language. I'm looking at you, Star Trek and Star Wars, and literally any star system type thing in sci-fi that I can think of, except perhaps Firefly, because everybody's human there, but even they don't all speak the same language, so. And before anybody says universal translator or a common language, I'm still not buying it. Have you ever tried using Google Translate to talk to somebody from a different country? Yeah, there's a reason why your language teacher told you never to trust Google Translate, because it's not verbatim. You have idioms and all kinds of different things that don't translate well.
Take, for example, the German phrase, Ich verstehe nur Bahnhof. Sorry if I said that kind of weird or wrong for all you German people out there. I don't know German pronunciation at all, so I hope I said some of that right, maybe. But anyway, that literally translates to English as I only understand the train station, which in English doesn't make any sense. But if you actually take it in context in German, it means I didn't understand any of that. So as you can see, Google Translate can only get you so far. The same can be said for any kind of universal translator in this same effect.
Now, sometimes Star Trek and Star Wars do this very well, such as when they have to use an actual translator, such as in this scene from Star Trek, the reboot series, and anytime C-3PO is used, that's a good way of showing that there are different languages, they don't always translate well, and you need an interpreter of some kind. I don't know, I like the accuracy of having to deal with different languages. It's just a preference for me, and not that I haven't read any good books or watched any good TV shows or movies that don't use this, that they have that universal translator, but I like to see something like these where you actually do have to know a different language. Give me a little struggle with language and I'm happy, because it's realistic. Language skills are important. Make it prominent and you might get more kids interested in learning another language. Number 3, technology. Please skip the technobabble. As a person who is not an engineer, not tech savvy except with basic things, please, I am not going to understand what you're talking about, and chances are most people are not going to understand what you're talking about, even the people that would typically understand it. And honestly, those are the people that you might lose completely with your technobabble, because your technobabble doesn't make any sense with actual science. This is where believability and accuracy come into play a lot of times. You see this a lot with sci-fi in particular, more so than any other genre that I can think of, because in sci-fi you have all kinds of new and crazy gadgetry and ways things work. Most of the time you can get what something does without actually knowing how it works. Hyperdrive, warp speed, tachyon particle, whatever. Insert scientific term here that's not real. But, sometimes a little technobabble does work, because you might be having a character who is very knowledgeable about engineering or mechanics, such as this lovely lady right here. Gotta love me some cake. And then you might have the captain of the ship that doesn't know all this, just kind of sitting there and nodding. Okay. And basically that's just character development. Number 4, planets. Okay, I really only have one thing to say about this. If you give me a planet and it doesn't have more than one climate, I'm not buying it. And I'm sorry, Star Wars and Star Trek, I am hating on you a lot right now. You're not going to tell me that an entire planet is a desert. You're not going to tell me that an entire planet is a forest, or an entire planet is a city. These places wouldn't survive. And if they are going to survive, you better give me a damn good reason why they are surviving, because that's what inquiring minds will want to know. Namely, my inquiring mind. Because if you're gonna give me that, one biome, one climate, you're gonna have to explain something, because it doesn't make sense. Not in our world. Now, maybe in your world it does make sense. Explain it just a little bit. Not so much that we get the technobabble from number 3, but enough that we get something. Just something. I need something that explains why it's only one climate. Maybe it's like Hoth and it's just a really tiny moon, and there is an atmosphere, but it's way, way, way out and not near too many suns. Give me something that makes sense, that works with your world. I mean, come on. Even Mars has more than one climate. I mean, hello, ice caps, anyone? Number 5, The Chosen One. Now, sci-fi is certainly not the only genre that uses the Chosen One trope. Fantasy is definitely another one that uses this trope a lot. And honestly, I love the Chosen One trope. I adore it. And I know so many people do not like Chosen One, and I don't care. Honestly, I don't understand why I love it. I just do. I love the idea that someone is meant to do something. I love the idea of destiny. The problem with the chosen one trope is that it can be done either extremely well or extremely bad. And we all know bad versions of this. And you and I might agree or disagree on what makes something good or bad as far as this trope goes. I really do enjoy subverting the chosen one trope a little bit. I actually just rewatched an episode of Star Wars Rebels where it kind of goes into the concept that everyone has different parts of them that can be destined or something along those lines. Basically, what happened in the episode was they were trying to find a planet, and only the child could find the planet, and then there was a fool and a warrior, and the mage-like medicine woman kind of woman, she basically says that everyone goes through their lives and become either the warrior, the child, or the fool at some point in their life, and they often end up becoming all three at some point. And I thought that was very interesting and very true. Everybody has different aspects of themselves that manifest at different times, and it just works out that way. Anyway, in the episode, there is kind of a chosen one deal with the character Zeb being able to find the planet that they're looking for. And actually, Star Wars uses the chosen one trope a lot, even within just Star Wars Rebels. And obviously, in the prequels, they do mention that Anakin is the chosen one multiple times. And then there's debate that actually Luke was the chosen one, but I digress. There's a lot of chosen one tropes in Star Wars, and I actually really enjoy that about it. Again, there's destiny involved in all of these things, and that's what I really enjoy about the chosen one trope. Dune is another one I've heard about. I haven't actually read or watched Dune. I plan on it, I just haven't gotten to it yet. But that's another story that has a chosen one trope, and I hear it's done very well. When I do eventually read it, I will definitely critique it on that. So look out for a later video about Dune. I am definitely going to be doing trope videos at some point. Anyway, that's all I have for you today. I am still accepting beta readers for Unveiling the Facade. Please check out the website for new blog posts and any new works that I put up. I will be on Facebook and Twitter promoting those, so please follow me on Facebook and Twitter. Also, subscribe to this channel to see more content, and go to audreybwilson.com to sign up for the newsletter. Please leave a comment about your favorite tropes in fiction, and hopefully I'll be able to do a least favorite and favorite trope video at some point. Thanks for watching. Until next time.